Thank you. You're far too kind. Far too kind. Standing ovation already, and we just got started. Hey, check this out. It's Monday, 8 o'clock. This is Around the Way with Sax and Nick J. Nick J is out tonight, so I brought in a ringer. Brought in my cousin family. Becca, how you doing this evening? Hey, you know what? I was just talking to Becca, and I feel terrible for reaching out to her, but she, as usual, per usual, y'all know, y'all that fuck with us, y'all know, when it's time to pod, she gonna be podding. Talk to the people. How you doing, Cuzzo?
What's up? I'm doing good. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the week. I'm doing good. Not much going on. Had a very interesting weekend. Very interesting weekend. Some revelations happened, but other than that, not much going on. Just ready to talk.
Revelations.
Celebrities.
I'm about to be nosy as shit now. I mean, but you know what? Well, besides, I mean, I don't know if you want to go into those revelations. Is that like a whole pod or whatever?
Oh no! It's not that bad. Okay. It was something that I had mentioned at another pod in regards to something we talked about, having a uterus is ghetto. So I just realized that I'm going to stop going to the doctor in regards to my uterus because all they want to do is rip it and tear it apart.
Oh shit! Okay, got you. Okay, yeah, you was mentioned. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So I have realized this weekend that I am going to leave it up to the Lord in regards to my uterus. We'll leave it at that.
That's between you.
Because if I leave it up to the doctors, they're gonna yank the joint out. Like, it's gonna go inside, rip it, and toss it. Like, that's what they want to do. So having a uterus is ghetto. It's very ghetto. So I'm just going to, as far as my health is concerned in my uterus, I have realized that I'm gonna just leave it alone and I'm gonna let the Lord fix it instead of letting the doctor take it out.
Well, you know what? I think all things dealing with the uterus should be, that's a woman type deal. That's why, I don't want to get into Roe v. What's up, Tina B? What's up, Trey? But I don't, I think that already was hit on. I think y'all did that a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I don't even think men should be in the fucking room when we discussing like reproductive shit and all that. But we don't want to get back into all of that. But yeah, I feel you. That should be between you and your God and
right.
and I guess doctor in some cases. I mean, when they don't want to just say, yo, we rip that shit up out there. That's all we need to do.
Well, that's all they want to do. I'm noticing when it comes. That's all they want to do. What's up, Mr. Graves? What's going on? I'll see you tomorrow.
They're trying to hysterectomy you early, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah, according to them, nothing could be done with anything else except just take the uterus out. It's like, okay, if my arm hurt, you don't just fix the arm, you just take the arm. Okay, great.
Yeah, your arm hurt. Yeah, we will cut that off. You got another one.
Right, I got another arm. It don't matter. Like, I can live with one arm. Like, come on. Whatever.
Hey, yo, but hey, before we get into it, man, shout out to the guys podcast team. Shout out to Bobby and the Blackjack team. Shout out to Blast Music. They out there as well.
Yes.
Shout out to the guys network channel are streaming on channel 6 on Stream, correct?
Yes.
We're moving up in the world. We moving up in the world. We
STRIMM.com.
Did I say that right? Stream.com?
Yeah, but they may not know how to spell stream.
Yeah. Matter of fact,
just some people in the back.
Yeah. We on a TV app. Well, we was on the TV, the Blackjack TV app, but we on Stream now. We doing big things. Hey, how you doing? Sam? How you doing?
What's good, Sam? I missed you, Sam. I missed you on Wednesdays. Come back to us.
So, the first segment is going to be about why, and we're going to talk about one of the most pettiest motherfuckers in the industry. 50 Cent and his claims of Diddy and James Cruz freaky sexual encounters. I'm gonna turn that one over to you so you can explain that one to the people back.
So here we go again with another infamous Vlad TV interview. I don't even know why. I think Vlad just has it out for the whole entire hip hop industry. Because whoever he has on there is going to say something controversial. And I think he gets a kick out of it. I'm starting to think it's like intentional. So James Cruz, somebody from way back in the day that was dealing with G Unit, did a Vlad TV interview and was talking about him being disappointed that G Unit ended. And it's almost like they ended at the height of their career, right? So he was talking about how, he was disappointed that they ended and he wanted them to continue. They have so much potential. And one thing that you don't do is talk about 50 Cent. Because what is he going 50 Cent? So 50 Cent got wind of the interview and was like, nigga, shut up. You and Diddy was boyfriends. You was all up in his butt back in the 90s. And you wasn't even really part of G Unit. You ain't make no deals. You ain't have no part of G Unit. You was just in the meetings, just there taking up space. You ain't even really have no say. So what are you talking about? Mind your business before I expose you and your boyfriend. His boyfriend happens to be P. Diddy, Sean, Love, Puffy Combs. So one thing that I need everybody to understand, everybody, hear ye. Don't talk about 50 Cent ever.
What are people gonna learn? I don't understand when they're gonna learn. 50 Cent probably should get the lifetime next award show. I don't know which one we have, but 50 Cent should go on stage and get the lifetime achievement award for Zero Fucks Given because he doesn't care.
Not a percentage of a fuck given.
He does not care at all. He is gonna come at you. And from what I'm hearing, this isn't the first time. And I think 50 isn't the only one that questions Diddy's sexual orientation, but I think 50 has questioned his sexual orientation in the past, right?
I mean, the whole industry has questioned P. Diddy's sexual past.
That's fair. That's fair.
Everyone has. So it's not like this is news, right? Everyone has questioned. And I feel like this. One person says it, two people that don't like you say it. Okay, they could just be, they just don't like you. But when the entire industry has decided to say that this could be questionable, maybe it is true. And you know what? I think most people in the industry are probably in the closet anyway. So, I mean, I'm still gonna do the Harlem Shake when I hear Diddy's song, though. We're not canceling Diddy just because he may be in the closet or not in the closet. Like, speak your truth, love. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And we're not gonna cancel 50 Cent because 50 Cent shoots. So we're gonna always be Team 50 Cent because I don't want no smoke with Mr. Star. Whatever 50 Cent say, go. I don't want no smoke.
50 Cent is the type where 50 will make you think you could be a regular person like us, and you might catch 50 on a bad day. You might come at him right because some people will try to get attention from celebrities by coming at them reckless.
Right.
I just don't. I would never have the need I would never want to put myself in a position where 50 could put me on that Summer Jam scream. I don't know about you, but I don't need them type of problems. He got too much money and resources to probably put me out there, expose me, like find some stuff on. Because this is what 50 does. Exactly. 50 either got the information or he's going to get the. This is the same 50 Cent when Ja Rule was doing you remember when Ja Rule was doing a little concert and you can get tickets off of Groupon, which was sad. 50 went and bought all the tickets, man. This dude, he's the pettiest. He is to me, he by far is the pettiest.
He is the
entertainer
of them all.
Probably in my lifetime. I'm sorry, he just is.
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy? It's like you almost, if it was anybody else, like anybody we knew in the street that was this petty, we were like, come on now, you gotta let it go. But when 50 Cent does the pettiness, it's funny. It's funny. Like only 50 Cent could do that shit and get away with it. How do you buy the first 4 or 5 rows of somebody's concert tickets so that the front rows could be empty? How do you do that? It's so damn petty.
That's some next level. Oh my God.
Here we
That's
go.
some next. Let me go with this shit right here. It's some next level petty shit.
Sean, check your inbox for my invoice.
Yeah, Becca wants some money for a time, bro. I might be inclined to pay her. But anyway, let's move on real quick. What do we got going on next? Okay, we got Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan beefing again. This beef is going on from 40 years old because here's how this started, right? It goes back before the 91 sweep. So 85 All-Star game. I think Jordan's rookie season or second
Yes.
year, whereas he was in an elevator with but this is Jordan's side.
Yes.
Basically, I'm trying to figure out who's lying, but Jordan says he spoke to IT and IT didn't say anything to him.
Right.
IT
he
put
treated
out
him like a rookie, like a rookie.
Right.
He shaded him like a rookie would, like a veteran would do a rookie. Like, all right, we gonna haze you for a little bit.
Right. So IT side of the story went as such. He said, well, I was with this rookie in the elevator, and he was really cocky, standoffish, and things of that nature. So I don't know. I know there's three versions to every story. One person's version, the other person's version, and the truth. But this, you would think that this beef would have died down, but it continued in '91 when Jordan and the Bulls finally got over the hump against Detroit.
Yeah,
and this is their first championship year there. And finally, because Detroit was always the Bulls' nemesis back then, finally got over the hump, and the Detroit Pistons collectively told Chicago the game was over. Like, I'd say 1 minute left, and the whole team, the Detroit Pistons team, walk off the court before they could shake hands. So because of that, IT is saying that Jordan is the reason why he wasn't on the Dream Team, And all of this, I guess, all of these stories were retold recently, and IT took to Twitter. And what did he say via Twitter, Cuzzo?
He said, in layman's terms, shut up. First of all, somebody was injured, all right?
Right.
So stop acting like you came in there trying to be the end-all, be-all. You was a rookie. We wasn't really feeling you like that. We didn't give you the ball. Get over it, right? But I'm a little torn about this because we know Jordan to elaborate on some stories.
To get motivated, right? Absolutely.
Right. He definitely elaborates. He definitely adds to the story for dramatic purposes, right? But I kind of feel IT. I don't care if you lying on me. I'm not gonna ever let you lie on me. I don't care if it is 40 years. Every time you open your mouth to lie on me, I'm gonna come back and correct you. So I kind of feel Isaiah Thomas on that part.
And you know what? I'm going to side with Isaiah. I know Merv is probably sharp. Merv is a diehard Pistons fan. IT is probably one of his favorite players. But I'm going to side with IT because, like you said, Sean probably agree with this. Jordan did this thing where he would make up shit to be motivated, and he would like for instance, like George Karl. They played the Supersonics. I want to say in like '96. He saw George Karl in a restaurant. Both of them have ties to the University of North Carolina, and I guess George Karl didn't get up and recognize him and say, "Hey, my North Carolina buddy." And Jordan made those famous words on the documentary. I took that personal. Well. Right. Whatever he made up about IT, he took that personal because the very next game they played against each other in that 85 season, Jordan dropped 49 on his head. I'm a side with IT on this. Surprisingly,
I feel him. You're not gonna lie on me. I don't care. As long as I'm alive and you open your mouth, I'm not gonna let you lie on me. I get it.
And I also Jordan denies that he's the reason why IT wasn't on that Dream Team. Let's be honest. If everybody knows their basketball history, Isaiah Thomas definitely should have been on that team. Christian Laettner should not have been. And this is me objective because I'm a Duke fan. Christian Laettner played for Duke. He was on the team and not IT. I'm inclined to believe that Jordan because the story goes that it's like, okay, we want you on the Dream Team, and the story goes that Jordan said, well, y'all could have me if IT ain't on the team. Don't know how true that is, but that's what that's one of the major beefs because that 92 Dream Team is like the pinnacle. There'll never be another Olympic team like that team. That was the first time the United States used professional athletes for the Olympics, and they were extremely dominant. They're probably the greatest basketball team ever assembled. So
and what's so crazy is that you have somebody like what boggles me always is that you cannot deny Jordan's skill. When you talk about the game of basketball, his name is going to come up, good, bad, or indifferent. as well as Isaiah Thomas. So it's like they are both very, very good. But Jordan is just his arrogance sometimes. He reeks of it. He just can't help himself. So when he's giving a story, and we all know that two people could recollect the story very differently, especially if they got beef, right? Especially if they got beef. So when Jordan tells his story, he's going to be biased. He's going to make sure that he gives a story to make himself look good. And one thing Isaiah is going to do is Isaiah. Okay? So whenever Jordan speaks, he can say that my shirt is blue. Isaiah would be like, nah, nigga, your shirt white. It don't even matter what he say. Isaiah does not like this man. And this beef is as old as me. This beef is old.
They legitimately hate each other. Yeah, they legitimately hate each other.
You talk about like holding a grudge. Both of them will die hating each other. That is just crazy.
I don't see them but I'm gonna side with IT on this one, and I guess we're gonna move along. Okay, so this next one. I'm gonna go ahead and talk on this real. So Herschel Walker was out of the University of Georgia, one of the great. I'm not gonna take. He's one of the greatest running backs to ever play football. I'm saying professional football because he wasn't. Look at your boy. Of course, and Sean is very Jordan biased.
Very biased.
So of course, he's gonna go the Jordan route. But anyway, Herschel Walker played with University of Georgia. Now, instead of going to the NFL, he went to the USFL because they were offering him more money. And I think it was an age thing where you didn't have to wait. He wanted to go into professional football sooner rather than later. His USFL career was more stellar than his NFL career, I think. But he's still considered as one of those running backs that's like timeless or whatever.
I guess.
But now he is he's a Republican running for a Senate seat in Georgia where he's going up against Raphael Warnock, Democrat. And I think he's going to win, cousin. And I'm gonna tell you why. The dynamics. Herschel Walker is the prototypical politician that the MAGA base is drawn to. He's not intelligent. He has numerous flaws. You remember when the Republican Party used to be the party of family values? Now, this is back in the day, cousin, when if you got a side chick out there or you got a baby out there or you a woman beater, usually you spending your campaign when that news comes out, right?
Yes.
But with the new Republican Party, all of that shit goes out of the window. There's no standards. There's no moral ground. Like, this dude is a woman beater. He put a gun to his a lady he was dating or one of his baby mothers put a gun to her head. Just discovered that he got an outside child out there or one or two of them.
Right.
And these things were usually it was something else. It came out that he has like bipolar or schizophrenic, and in the comments he made, Cuzzo, he said that, well, this is what he said. He said, well, Jesus had had multiple personalities. So yeah, this is what the man said, or something to that. If I'm wrong, somebody please in the comments. He said something to that effect. I know that much. So this guy, but the thing is, I think he has a very good shot because I mean, this is where we get the Bobart lady and the what's the fucking crazy lady name? Matter of fact, she's in Georgia and she's in Georgia as well. Damn, Marjorie Taylor Greene, that crazy QAnon lady. She already yeah. So these are all reasons, and I like I told you before when we was backstage, these are all reasons why I think he's going to win because the political landscape has changed so much. Whereas, like me or you can put on a fucking MAGA hat and say that the election was stolen, and polls with some guns, and we will win a Republican Senate seat or Congress seat. What you got to say on all this? I told you you wasn't going to like it. I told you.
Jesus had multiple personalities.
He said something to that effect. Yes, absolutely Republican. I like that.
Wait. Okay, because I'm looking it up. Jesus Christ had a mental illness because he said he's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. To me, those are three different personalities.
Hold on, is that what he said?
That's what he said.
That is gold. I did not know that. That makes it 10 times better.
Because while you talking, I'm in the Googles because I need some explaining.
So if you're out there in Georgia, we don't like to hit on politics too much, but this is a guy that's going to be, that's possibly could be a lawmaker in your state. So just be advised. But it's just the reason I wanted to touch on this is because you don't even have to have the qualifications. There was the Bobar lady from Colorado. She didn't have, like, I think she had a GED or something like that. But it's literally not, politics is a joke now because
I mean you don't even need to that much to be a president. I mean Trump became president, so it's clear that you don't really need that. I'm gonna run next year. I'm gonna run the next presidency. I'm gonna run. So just vote for me.
Unfortunately, not to be on politics too long, but this is why the left loses, because the left is not playing the same game that the right is playing. The right is the right used to be the one with we're not standing for this, we're not standing for that, we're the party of family values. But ever since Trump came along, it's like no holds bar. As long as you support MAGA, we don't give a damn if you got charges. We don't care if you're a woman beater. We don't care if you're it doesn't matter. As long as you say the election is stolen, we can primary another Republican who doesn't fall for all that shit. But I hate to say it, but I think he has a really, really good chance of winning.
I am a ball of confusion. Okay, so mental health is real, so I'm not going to make a joke about that part, right? However, it is very clear that he's a sandwich short of a picnic. And
absolutely.
If you vote for this man, you do not take your livelihood serious at all. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I don't even live in Georgia, and I'm pleading y'all, please don't vote for this man. Please don't vote for this man. It's crazy that he's allowed to say this, but it's also predictable, right? As long as you're Black and you are anti-Black, because you got to be Black and anti-Black. That's the kicker for the Republicans. If you're Black and you anti-Black, you in there. You in there like swimwear. So I'm sure that when he goes onto the light and they examine his brain, he's gonna have CTE. I'm sure of it. It's not just a mental situation. It's something else is going on. I feel sorry for the state of Georgia. I'm so sorry. R.I.P. Georgia.
Yeah, hopefully Raphael Warnock can win that seat back. But we'll see. Let's move on. As you all know, and you look depressed like you live in Georgia.
Because he said that Jesus had schizophrenia, is what he said. How do you fix your lips to say Jesus had a mental illness because he thought he was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit?
And Becca, the funny part about it is that explanation works. The base, MAGA base would be like, oh, that makes sense. That's great. So that's where we're at with that. Hopefully,
send the flood, Lord.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about. We're not going to recap and review because you already know tomorrow 8:00. Y'all know Mervin Tazon get down the Mervin Tazon show. They're still recapping every episode. Heavy episode they got that aired last night called Savage. Those brothers is going to knock that out tomorrow, and they are going to be yes, they are under the influence of Uncle Ruckus. Absolutely, Trey. But they yeah, I don't know what you say what for, Sean, but yeah, everything that Becca said, like 50 said, whatever he say he did that shit. He said that shit. Yeah. Whatever they say he said that.
He did that shit.
Guilty as fuck.
Whatever they said he did that shit.
He did that shit. So what we would like to discuss is the undertones, certain topics of P-Valley. We're 2 seasons in. I think we're coming down to the end of of season 2. I think season 1 was 8 episodes. I don't know how many. Is it 8? Is it 8 or 10 episodes for season 2? Do you know? I know
I
Tavon
am
knows.
not sure, but I'm gonna find out.
Drop it in the comments if you know how many episodes. But I know season 1 was 8. Season 2 to be determined. But one of the first things we want to cover, because we've seen it in season 1 and in season 2, it's like an ongoing theme. Let's talk about this. We're going to talk about the abuse aspect, and what I would like to talk about. Of course, this is going to be centered around Keyshawn, aka Miss Mississippi. M.I. crooked letter I.
Humpback.
Yeah. Fuck that all the way up.
So this one is going to have, I believe, 10 episodes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're just at the mid-season. Yeah.
Okay, so now what I like about last week's episode is like what I hate on some shows, Becca, is that sometimes they slow stuff. This is not what I hate, but I think the general public hates when, you know, stuff is ramping up, stuff is wrapping up, and the show says, you know what? Let's slow things down and do some character development.
Yeah,
what they have to realize is this a prelude. I think that when they do shows like that, it's a prelude to something that's going to happen later on down the line. So I like the episode that was centered around Keyshawn, and Derek.
Yeah.
But what I like what they're doing with this, the abuse portion of it. I mean, we don't like to see things like this. It's negative and all those good things, but these are things that actually happen. This is a part of real life. And you know, I think they're doing a really good job of covering this. Because you got the white knight that turned out to be a, you know, white abuser, and everything on the surface just appeared that he was this nice guy that you saw the episode last week, and it turned out the funny thing is that I think he's a racist. Like, he's literally got 2 kids by a black chick, but I think he's a stone cold racist because he said something about being trapped. You know, typical things that guys say when they don't want to take any responsibilities, like, you trapped me, like,
I'm here because of you. I got this on because of you.
Right. And he was absolutely delusional. And this is when she still had a spine, I guess, but before he started beating her ass, when he was delusional, he was like, I'm stuck in this situation, take care of you. And she was like, hold on, taking care of you? I'm the one who working nights at Walgreens. And also along with that, this motherfucker can't hold a job down. You don't think you find in my streets, this motherfucker can't hold down a job for nothing.
Right. Now, he want to be, he's living the black lifestyle as a white man. But the abuse, what I like so much about, and it's so crazy to say it that way, but it gives you more of an insight as to what happens in an abusive relationship. A lot of the times people ask, why are you still there? Why don't you leave? Why can't you? And it gives you an understanding as to why. And we'll talk about that later when you mention another person in their abuse. Is sometimes the abused, regardless of the situation, is stuck to and can't leave their abuser. No matter what happens, there's a connection. It's a trauma bond that keeps them together. And them going into Keyshawn's backstory gives all of us some explanation as to why we were so frustrated that she was still with this guy. We were like, why are you still with him? Why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? Get up, get out. And her backstory tells us why she hasn't left as of yet. We don't know what will happen soon because I feel like it's starting to click to her. But as of now, we see why she hasn't left.
Yeah, and it's just funny to me how people just chalk it up to, from the outside looking in. People just chalk it up to why they don't leave. And you know, Autumn Night was going through similar abuse with Martavius or whatever, and she told Gidget, because Gidget asked the question in that one episode, say, why won't you just leave? And I think she said that's the time where they're most likely, you know, to kill you. And it's funny. We saw. I likened it to Stockholm syndrome when she pulled the gun out on Diamond. I keep telling y'all, I died a little inside when
Yes.
she pulled that gun out on Diamond. But that's, to me, that was an element of Stockholm syndrome. Now she's with him in a relationship, but she's a prisoner. My opinion.
Absolutely.
She is an absolute prisoner. So when she caught that gun and she put it on Diamond, because Diamond loves her. We all know that Diamond wants to be with her, evident by episode 6 that Merv them will beautiful. It can confirm.
Absolutely.
We gonna leave that for tomorrow. But Stockholm syndrome, and added to the fact that there's kids involved, and as we saw as we saw in last week's episodes, he's now beating the kids.
Yeah.
So she is getting to a point where she feels as though she has to get out of it, because she told him, "You can hit me all day long, but you're not going to abuse my children." And what she gets, she got punched in the face for that. And I don't know how you can put an iron to even attempt to put an iron to somebody's face that you say you love, but that was just craziness to me. But yeah, the abuse element is definitely. I think they're doing a really good job of bringing that to light. And I think what I like about it is that people that don't know about, they might just hear stories and things of that nature, but they don't mince no word. They're bringing it to real life, where she's getting. They're not editing anything. I think they're doing a really good job of making it do what it do on that token.
Yeah, so much to the point that as a watcher, you get up, you go through the emotions with the actors. Like that scene when he was like beating her in the kitchen, and she was crying out to him like with the iron, like anywhere but my face. You kind of felt like, please don't.
I'm not even gonna lie. I felt like I knew Keyshawn at that moment when she begged him anywhere but my face. I felt like I knew her personally. Like, man, for a second, I'm like, man, we got to get her up out of it. I'm like, oh shit, this is a show. But that's how great. That's how great I think they brought that home.
Yep.
So let's go with colorism, because it's all from the beginning to it. Colorism is a huge deal.
Yeah.
And I think
it's from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Season 1, episode 1, it started.
Say again?
Season 1, episode 1, it started with colorism, with Autumn being so right looking, right passing.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny because this is another thing that people absolutely say. And I wanted to ask you, hey, what's going on, Rika? Because you remember Mercedes said all she did was lay there looking light.
Yeah.
Well, that's all light-skinned bitches got to do.
Yep. And Uncle Clifford called her a yellow heifer.
Right. So let me ask you this: have you ever been hated on because of your complexion?
Yes. Yeah.
I am too dark for the Puerto Ricans.
Wow.
Yes. When I get around straight Puerto Ricans, light-skinned Puerto Ricans, white passing Puerto Ricans, because a lot of Latins, they like to be amongst and take on the behaviors of white people. Let's just be honest. A lot of them can pass.
Really?
A lot of them, not in New York, but I'm noticing down here where I am, because New York, Latins and Black people are living and being raised the exact same way. So in New York, a lot of Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, whatever, they will acknowledge their nationality, but they will also, they live Black lifestyles. So a lot of them consider themselves Black. Technically they are, but that's for your history class. So a lot of them do. But since I moved to the South, they make a great distinction about not being Black. They are Puerto Rican. They are Dominican. They are Panamanian. They are not Black. They don't consider themselves Black at all. So when I get around some of them and they realize that I am Puerto Rican, and that I can speak Spanish, they assumed I learned it in school and it's like my second language. They don't and then when they see my mother, they're like, "Oh, tú hablas español," and I'm like, "Sí, yo hablo español. ¿Qué tú quieres?"
And see, this is what, because Trey, me and Trey talk all the time, and Trey has dealt with this throughout his life, as far as because he's mixed, and that's just what you go through. Now, let me ask you this: have you had any like conflict with with black women or black men as far as your complexion? Because it looks like in the show, like everybody like hates on light skin people because they feel like they have it easier. Whereas in sharp contrast, Corbin is the exception to that because he's the brother that's on the outside looking in. He's the maid's son and not the mother of the two brothers. So he's looked at like he was looked at as a servant, even though he was a half brother. Wyatt asked him to pour him a drink. He's out there picking cotton, so to speak. He got the big machine or whatever. Yeah. But and the colorism as far as I didn't like, man, I would have whooped Wyatt's ass. If I was fucking Andre, I don't give a fuck. If he had told me, listen, go ahead and pick some, I would have lost my lawyers. I would have fucked him all the way. I'm sorry.
And he's a ginger, so there's a different there's a different. He's not blonde hair, blue eyed, right? He's a ginger. He's redhead, so it's a little bit different. But amongst black people, when they realized that I was Puerto Rican, they was like, "Oh, okay, that's why your hair is like that." Because I don't have Wakanda hair. Like I don't have thick, coarse hair. I have curly, soft hair. So a lot of people would assume because of my hair that I was mixed. And then when I tell them Puerto Rican, then they make the connection. But I never felt exiled by black people because I was mixed.
Okay, good.
It was the other way around.
It's good to know. Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay. So you have the other ad. Let's go back to Keyshawn because Keyshawn is enamored, and it all made sense. Keyshawn, remember that night Corbin was in the club. He has some weird fetish where he likes to be treated as a slave, which I thought was funny as shit. He actually brings a whip into the strip club and have the strippers whip him with it. I think he had Keyshawn and Mercedes in the room, and she was just enamored. And she said something about all that yellow wasted on. And Clifford, if you don't get your color struck ass out of my face or something like that. Right. But that is a thing where we have a segment, and a lot of black people are like this. Like they have a thing whereas, like some people they'll be like, I'm not gonna have a dark mate because I don't want my kids to look dark or whatever. And that's always annoyed me or whatever. But you still have people out there like that. You still have people out there that are like that. And I think that she clearly and she's a very, very attractive dark skinned young lady.
Keyshawn is gorgeous.
Yes,
even in real life, if you go to her social media, she's not done up a lot in her social media. She has on makeup, but she's not like P Valley makeup. It's regular day-to-day makeup. Keyshawn is a gorgeous woman. The actress that plays Keyshawn is absolutely gorgeous, and so is Mercedes in real life. Gorgeous, drop dead gorgeous. So and I'm sure in real life she has probably had that as well, because when you do same thing like with Kelly Rowland, you're pretty for a dark skinned girl, right? When you see someone that's brown, dark brown, chocolate, and drop dead gorgeous, they can't just be beautiful. They got to be beautiful for a dark girl. You know, they call them darky. They have all these little, red bone, yellow bone, right? They have all of these names for your skin complexion. So I'm sure Keyshawn, what she dealt with in that episode from her sisters, was probably something she dealt with in her real life at some point.
Oh, I had forgotten about that. Yeah, because the two stepsisters were she was living a real life Cinderella story because the two sisters were light skinned, and the mom. How do you make it that? I mean, I'm trying to figure out how you make it that obvious that hey, I know I stole your mother. I know I stole your father from your mother. And I know you live in my house, but I really don't want you here. She made that very, very fucking obvious,
Because Keyshawn's father gave her the ability to have that attitude. Because Keyshawn wasn't always there. So she can always prance around like the Barbie doll her father made her. So she had that attitude because she was allowed to. She was allowed to have that attitude. So now that Keyshawn was in the house, she couldn't shake it. She couldn't hide that attitude that she had about Keyshawn's mother and her reasoning for being in this house with the two girls. She couldn't fake it. She couldn't shake it. She reeked of it. So when Keyshawn was there, and she said it so haphazardly, like that's her language. She speaks like that normally. So now Keyshawn being in the house gave her a reminder of the real life situation. And that's why Keyshawn had to check her. When she checked her, she got upset.
She said, if I recall, you served my mother to drink first. Keyshawn was pissed. She was like, you acting like this some damn fairy tale. That shit was, I like that.
Don't get it twisted. You are the other woman. Don't get it twisted. You are the side piece. Remember.
Yeah, but another thing I noticed is that this is Mississippi. Mississippi is, historically known as one of the poor states. I wouldn't say they're still behind, but it just seems like they still have that a light touch of that colonial feel. I don't want to go into the episode yesterday, but it's almost one of them things where white people still say stuff that's kind of out of pocket, and it's not accepted. They get checked, just like when Buddy was like, "Well, I'm not about to bid. I'm not about to put up my money for the pink when they're about to go to the auction block." Now you got to read the room. That's a plug for the title of the damn pod. But you got to read the room, and those who's in the room with you, you're mentioning auction block. You're white. You're talking to two black guys, and we're in Mississippi. Come on, guy. But
it's one of those towns that have not caught up to the rest of the world yet. Like they are still very much like only thing they missing is the white only's water fountain. That's the only thing they missing is the white only water fountain because they are very much stuck in slavery times. Still.
I think that's a perfect segue to the actual culture. Now, what I will preference this with is like born and raised in the Georgetown, South Carolina, but I come from a city, whereas I wouldn't say mimic, but we typically are drawn to fads, music, culture of up north. Our country town in Georgetown. That's what we listen to when I grew up on up north rap. I think the first Southern rappers that I was really listening to was when Outkast got really big and hot when I was in high school, whatever. But Trey crazy. But when they show these photos of like the town, you got the truck rolling through with the Confederate flag. That's still I saw a truck a couple of months ago. Same type deal, rolling around, big red old truck.
Yeah,
with they rolling through with a Confederate flag. And what I like about it is that you got cats that you got cats that's not from the South that haven't been here that much. They may come down for family reunions, but that's part of the South. That's we don't like it, but it does happen. That along with you remember they showed like dilapidated buildings and things of that nature, the homes and stuff like that. You see that when you come to Georgetown. We got some sections of the town where you got condemned houses and stuff like that. Yeah. The partying and all the music and all that stuff, the way they do it is totally different.
Yeah.
From from East Coast, West Coast, and all that stuff. But they still, in the music, they did a really good fucking job with tying the music to this show. Like the music is, I always download. They have a playlist on Apple Music. The fucking music is so fucking dope, and I think a lot of it's like original content. A lot of it's made by what is his name? Alfonso.
J. Alphonse. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did that. He did that before acting. Like he was in New York. He was banging on the buckets and the train stations. That's what he did. So that had those scenes where he's tapping on the card and tapping on the table, making those beats. That's what he really did. And one thing I love that I keep hearing people talk about, and it's clear that people that watch TV are not really watching it to pay attention. Like they're entertained by it, but they're not really soaking it in, because people have talked about their accents, the way that they dress and all of that stuff. And that is part of their culture.
Oh, it is.
they have different cultures in different cities. Like in New Orleans, they don't bury anybody underground, right? They have their second line. They do funerals way different than somebody else would do a funeral inside of a church. Very, very different. The way that they are living in such poverty that
Yeah.
when they go to the club or they go to the pink, that's their time to let loose. So when they let loose, they all the way loose, right?
Yeah.
You do have a lot of those in the closet, very masculine presenting gay men. You do have that a lot. Not only in the South, but in this particular situation, you do have that situation where men go to jail and they're extremely traumatized by their life in jail, like Teak, and they come out and they can't join the world like everybody else can. They can't get back to regular living. It's in them. So that is the culture. This is a show that deals in a particular part of the world. So the writing is very, very much sticking to the culture and not veering away from that at all. And I love it.
And that's what I'm glad you mentioned it. The representation as far as the dialects and how everybody sounds country. And me, fortunately, I've had a chance. I hadn't lived in Mississippi, but I was in Louisiana. I was stationed in Louisiana, and even though South Carolina is the South, when I when I got stationed in Louisiana, that I heard these. I mean, you still get it down there in Charleston, when people talking like this right here. Yeah. But when you go to Louisiana, Mississippi, that's when you get and whatchamacallit did a really good job. Rome, who else? Rome does a really good southern type accent. Yeah. Rest in peace, by the way. but
right.
Miss Mississippi. Yeah. She got but the representation of the South, the dialects, the culture, it is absolutely amazing. This is I hate to say it, Becca, but I put P Valley up there with Power.
Yeah,
I do.
I do too.
I do.
I'm invested, like I am invested in Power.
Like when the show went off last night, like I cannot wait to for Mervin Tazon to review this show tomorrow, because it was a really these last two episodes.
Listen,
but let's move on.
You're talking about watching the TV like this, like. I was on the couch watching, like, no. It's very rare that I watch a TV show and I'm yelling at the TV. And I'm literally yelling at the TV. My poor husband was looking at me like, babe, it's all right. I was like, no, it's not all right. I am not okay.
One more thing I almost missed about culture is the that Mississippi, Louisiana link to voodoo. Yes. And what Diamond does and all that stuff. That is it. I don't want everybody to think that's like something that's fake. That is a thing down there in the Delta and leading into Louisiana. I think we had some debate as far as good versus evil and all that stuff, but I think all of that stuff is connected to the culture, and they believe in going out to that field and getting some damn light of Alaskan tea like my grandmother. Making home remedies and throwing salt over your shoulder and blessing the house and all that. All of these things are ingrained. Huh?
They deal a lot with spirits. They deal a lot with energy.
All of that is ingrained in that culture.
Yeah. And part of that is what the next thing you're going to go to is the sin part. A lot of that is cleansing yourself of sin. If you're full of sin, what you can do, trying to get sin away from you, right? The burning of the incense, the sage, the onion in the corner of the room at night, right? The glass of water under your bed. Like there's all these things that they talk about that is part of their culture when they can see spirits and try to wean off sin from you. And when they find themselves, down and out, they go to these things for refuge. So that again is also a part of it. And because of the time that the area of the world that this show is being filmed at or is about, to keep to the culture, they have to include that. It's not an agenda to make everybody in the world evil and gay from watching the show.
Right.
It is part
Right.
of, because that's what the people are thinking. But if you're watching a show like Power that deals with drug dealers in New York, you're gonna in the 80s and 90s, you're gonna see baggy pants, you're gonna see oversized sweatshirts, you're gonna hear us talk
People
like us
doing
Northerners
drugs,
talk, and nobody has a problem with that. So if that is okay, and you're dealing with a timepiece, then in this particular show with P Valley is a timepiece as well. You got to deal with the accents and the culture and all the things that they deal with because it is a TV show. And everybody who lives in Mississippi feels represented. So let them have that.
Yeah, and here's what I want to address before we move on is there's a post that and I've seen several posts saying that ain't no way you have straight men out there watching P Valley. It's the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my life. I don't even know how ignorant motherfuckers come up with shit like this. Like, so what's supposed to happen if you see a gay scene with two guys are having sex? Is that supposed to turn? To me, that's insecure. I mean, and maybe they may have issues with their sexuality if they feel as though I just don't know. People are just weirdly vocal about that stuff, but it's a part of life. It's a part of society. I really applaud this show for its inclusion and all of those things. It's just weird as hell for somebody to say, yeah, I can't watch that show because it has gay sex scenes. It says a lot about an individual that feels that way. But we could talk about P Valley all night, but Merv and Tazon are going to do it from Justice tomorrow. I can't wait till them brothers come on. It's going to be a really, really good show. 8:00 tomorrow. Make sure you tune in.
Maybe I'll be on that show too. Who knows?
Yeah, Beck will probably be on that motherfucker too. She'll be on every pod.
I'm just a pod hopper at this point.
Beck and friends and shit like that. But moving right along, let's go to what's our next topic. But okay, we're gonna go on to the Aura. R. Kelly got 30. Count them, 30 years.
Dirty 30.
Multiple counts of y'all know what it is.
Yes.
It's very real about masculine men having relatives. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's very true. R. Kelly. Well, Robert Kelly. Don't drop the soap. I mean, at this point, we should not be surprised. 30 years is a good amount. Some people feel it should be more. He's already been in jail for quite a while. He's been doing this for 30 years. So, a year for each year he got away with it for about 30 years. So now he's going to do 30 years. I mean, this is not anything new, right? R. Kelly getting 30 years. We knew he was going to get some time. This is what he's done is not a surprise to any of us, right? Well, finally coming to fruition 25 plus years later of what we knew he was doing.
Here's what I want to address on this topic. So now there's this debate. It's been a debate out there ever since the stuff came up with R. Kelly, as far as I remember people saying that if you listen to his music, that means you condone what he do, and I think that's a load of bullshit. And let me tell you why. Okay, so you have people out there that we buy a lot of products from all over the place. Like for instance, let's go on Tommy Hilfiger. I think Tommy Hilfiger might have said something that he didn't. Who was it that said? Was that Tommy that said he didn't make his clothes?
Yeah, he didn't make clothes for black people. He didn't want us wearing his clothes.
But check this out, though. I see that Tommy Hilfiger came. Tommy Hilfiger was popular back when I was in school, went away from, but people are starting to wear that again. So, and that's not the only instance. Products that you buy, products that you consume, I'm pretty sure that's some scumbag people and all that. You have that out there.
Chick-fil-A is anti-gay.
Absolutely,
and they are anti anything but Catholic Christian type things. They close on
and they're
Sundays
fucking delicious. I'm sorry.
Chick-fil-A is they don't want anything unless you are a straight white male. That's their stance on it. And I get chicken minis. So boom. Chris Brown beat the shit out of Rihanna, and his latest album I enjoyed. Okay, all y'all favorite rappers call all y'all mothers and y'all daughters and y'all sisters bitches and hoes ain't shit, right?
That's what y'all called in every single rap song, and y'all still like Future. So wrap it up. Nick Cannon having all these babies, y'all are still mad at his ass, but you will watch Wildin' Out when it comes on MTV. So cut the shit.
Right. And what I will say is and Sam, that's perfectly fine if you can't separate the music from the artist. Me, on the other hand, I can. And I get it, not wanting to buy him and not wanting to buy it. I get all of that, but I think that what people have to do generally is stop judging people based on, like, you literally, like, I'm still gonna, if I feel like listening to R. Kelly music, I'm going to listen to it. Now, but what I really, really want to get to, he said he didn't make
Close the
didn't make Close the Gangbanging, right?
Okay.
So what I really want to get at, what I really want to talk about is these claims of parents' involvement with the victims. Check this out. This is a real thing, and this, I want to give a disclaimer. This is in no way, shape, or form. I'm not like trying to protect or take up for R. Kelly. He got that 30 years. That's exactly what he should get.
Right.
But the whole parent thing, being involved in trying to get these kids to, make sure you do this, that, so you can become famous, and you might have to sleep with them, this, that, and the third. To me, that's giving me kind of sex trafficking vibes. I don't know if I'm too far on that, but
no. Did you see the latest thing that came out?
I did not.
I'm not sure if it was audio or if it was text messages, but one of the girls texted her mom, was like, "Mom, I'm here," and the mother texted her back, "Okay, make sure you do what he wants you to do, massage him, and make sure you make him happy." This is the mother telling the daughter this, because if you don't do it, he's gonna find somebody else.
Jail. That parent, jail. Fuck that. They should be.
I mean, it's very difficult to say that these parents have no okay, these parents didn't make R. Kelly rape their child. Let's say that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They didn't say, "Here's my child, rape her." They didn't say that. So let's give them that, right? However, as a parent, it is your responsibility for your child, whether your child is young or a teenager, preteen or whatever, to make sure that you don't voluntarily put your child in a situation that is risky or dangerous, especially as a young woman in the midst of grown men. You are supposed to be there. Celebrity or not, do not trust them that much. Do not want the fame and the possibility of a career in what you love that much that you forego common damn sense. There is no way that I would leave my child. If she had all the talents in the world, I would never leave my child in the midst of adult men without me or my husband being there every single minute with them. She would never be in a room with them by herself. Never. I would never want her to be famous that damn bad. And some of these parents was putting their children in a position that was questionable. And then once, maybe they didn't know it in the very beginning, very, very first split second. But after you got an inkling that something was going on, you should have never let your child in that space again, ever. Ever.
I mean, it's like if your child go to daycare and your child come back with a mysterious mark and nobody can explain it, at the daycare, chances are you're going to enroll your kid in another daycare. It's just that simple. I mean, like if you're going to do that for a daycare, you definitely don't want to send them around, I don't know. It's just wild. What you just said, as far as with the mother, that mother should be getting the same. To me, that's similar to what the what's the name of the chick that just got all that time for the sex trafficking stuff?
Oh, Ghislaine or Epstein's chick. I know you're talking about.
That is very similar. If a mother saying do what he wants, that's the same shit in my opinion.
That's wild. And you're right, Trey. That kid being there, they shouldn't have been there to begin with. Yes, that's true. But you do have situations with teenage stars like Marsai Martin. She's the youngest female producer in Hollywood. She's only 14.
Her parents have been with her the entire way, right? So there is a situation where your child will be in an industry that is mainly male adult dominated. So yes, putting your child there does put you at some fault. But what I mean is they didn't willingly say, here's my child, rape her. But them allowing their child to be there is some of their fault. Definitely some of their fault. And I refuse to believe that these parents were clueless. Refuse to believe that they were clueless. I refuse to believe his wife was clueless. His wife was.
I would love for them to continue to, even though R. Kelly's getting that jail time as he should. I would love for them to continue to kind of like dig, because I think some of these parents, they may deserve some time as well, because we don't know what became of these children, these young ladies who their parents pretty much sending them into slaughter, so to speak.
Yeah, and this latest one, Joycelyn Savage, pleaded to the judge, I am his fiance. He is not a monster. I'm not a victim. She really said this out her face. She said, he is the best thing that's happened to me. I am not a victim. He's not a monster.
Not to her, but that motherfucker is a monster.
Like, she really, in regards to him getting the 30 years, she pleaded to the judge, like, for a lesser time or some other type of punishment, because we are engaged. It's just, again, the abused having some type of connection to their abuser that they can't shake, just like Mississippi.
All right. Well, I think R. Kelly got his 30 years. Hopefully they continue investigating, put some of them parents that put their kids in harm's way behind bars as well. We'll go into the main topic, which is titled Read the Room. This is something
these parents did not do.
Say again?
Which these parents did not do.
No, not at all.
They're cheering in R. Kelly's possession. They did not read the room.
You have some people that kind of struggle with this, and to me, I kind of call it a level of delusion. But I think when you get to a certain age, when you get yourself in certain situations around certain people, I think you have to read the room to get a feel of whether it's something conducive to, what you want to be involved with. So
what's up?
We want to talk about a couple of subtopics.
Yeah.
Regarding this. Okay, so if I don't rock with you, read the room. Here's my thing on this. To me, I think it's very easy to tell if someone really fuck with you or not. Now, you got a lot of people out there that are really fake, and they'll, oh my God, this, that, and the third. But there are subtle ways you can kind of read the room, to get an idea of the pulse of the room, and things of that nature. If you follow what I'm trying to say, like if I go somewhere,
dropping down. Yep, I get it.
if I go somewhere, right, which I'm a homebody, but if I go somewhere and I can tell very quickly if I'm not welcome or if people are standoffish, and I'm not one of them types that's going to force it.
Right.
I'm going to get the fuck out of Dodge. This ain't my scene. I'm not being felt, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let y'all have it. No animosity, nothing like that. But if y'all not rocking with me, I know enough to read the room. Whereas, you know what, this ain't my scene. They ain't really fucking with me like that. I'm gonna go on over here and do my own thing. I don't think that what a lot of people, in order to keep peace, I think they try to force things. But I think that's fake. I think that's very, very fake, especially when you're trying to. I'm one of them people. If you don't want me, I'm cool with it. I ain't even have no animosity. I'm gonna be out. What do you think of that?
I think reading the room is a skill. You have to work on that. I think it's very closely connected to emotional intelligence, which I feel a lot of people lack.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is sometimes people are not aware of time and place when it comes to certain things. So when you're reading the room, if I don't rock with you, right? There is one thing that a lot of us are not able to do well, and that is poker face. Some people are really good at it. Some people are not.
I'm
And
not really.
I'm not good at poker face either. I can be cordial, and even if me and somebody that I don't rock with is in the same space, it doesn't have to make the air thick. But just stay over there and I'm over here and we good. Cause bottom line, I am respectful. So I'm not going to just cause a scene just because. But there is a certain thing as knowing when to say knowing when to hold them, know when to fold them, right? So there is a big thing that I'm noticing adults are lacking is the ability to say, this is not the space for me. Let me leave. People want to force themselves onto people. They want to cross boundaries. They want to break the rules. They want to break code. They just want to just make people do something because it gives them some kind of power over the person. Oh, you don't like me? Great. I'm gonna fuck with you and just be everywhere you are because I know it bothers you and it irks you that I'm in this space. So I'm gonna make sure
You talking that shit right now.
and
You
they
talking
and
that
they
shit.
they get fun out of it. But what happens is that ends up you poking the bear. And if you poke the bear and you get mauled, don't say nothing. It's your fault.
Becca, that cordial piece, what people have to really realize is that people got to separate being cordial from being fake. Because, like you say, I cannot fuck with somebody. I'm going to treat you with dignity and respect all day long because you are a person. If you speak to me, we can still have normal conversation, especially if we're dealing with each other like in a group setting or something like that. I mean, and this mainly is with people that you work with as far as at work. Like,
Yeah, but it's
you got
unavoidable.
everybody got people at work they don't fuck with at all. But you're not going to just say, you know what, I don't fuck with you, this, that, and the third, because there's some things that you have to do. You have to collaborate. You have to build relationships.
Right.
And for the sake of that, you can do those things, still be cordial, still get the job done, but not be fake. Here's an example. Like, let's just say we use Microsoft Teams. I'm on a Teams meeting with somebody. I see a bunch of my coworkers on the screen and somebody I don't fuck with like that. You know, I'm not gonna. Here's what I hate what people do. Like, hey girl, I really like your hair and blah blah blah. And I'm like, and I'll sit back and listen to myself. I'll be like, you don't fuck with her. What do you do? And
Yep.
at this age, I mean, I think that's high school shit. I think you should leave that maybe in your 20s or whatever, but it is absolutely okay to not rock with somebody and still be cordial and have
Yes.
adult conversations about things. And the other party shouldn't feel slighted. I know I don't. People, if somebody don't rock with me, I don't take it personal. Everybody's not going to rock with everybody. That's just the way it is. And sometimes it's just good to separate yourself from a situation than to try to force it or be fake. Right or wrong?
Right, because a lot of the times, I agree. A lot of the times, people want you to believe the lie they told themselves. So they told themselves, "We cool, now we good, ain't no beef." But you really secretly don't like this person, so you will come
Hold on,
into.
real quick, because say that again at the beginning. You said some people want you to what?
They want you to believe the lie they told themselves.
Ah, dang, boy, I told you.
Write that
I like
down.
that.
Write that down, y'all.
I like that shit.
That's a tweet right there. Because what happens is there's somebody in the room that I don't like, right? So I told myself I'm able to be in this space amicably with this person, even though I don't like them. I know that's not true. So I'm gonna walk into that room and make everybody else in that room believe the lie I told myself. Nah, me and her cool, we ain't got no beef. But the air is thick. So you make everybody else uncomfortable because we know the two of y'all don't get along. And we can clearly see the two of y'all don't get along and the two of y'all are faking it. So for the rest of us, so we don't have to breathe this thick ass air, one of y'all gotta go. One of y'all gotta go. Because what happens is you can't take it too long.
Right. And Becca, the weirdest shit for me, you ever was in a space where you're around a bunch of people, right? And two people that you know don't fuck with each other acting like they're the best of friends. That's the weirdest shit. And I've been in a situation like that before, and I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck is going on right now? Like, is this like, am I on candid camera, or is this like wilding out? Am I on punked or whatever?
Right.
People, especially at our age, we're all of us are 40 plus for the most part.
Too old to be doing that.
It is absolutely okay for you to just be cordial instead of doing all the fake shit. Now, moving right along, let's see what we got next going on. Yeah. I'm gonna skip that one. You have to stay real in this fake everything era. And you know what? Social media is a gift and a curse. This is the fucked up part about social media. Because you have people that cap. Social media is a capping platform right now, especially Facebook. And it's simply because people will tell their truth. Now, I know people always say speak your truth or whatever, but if your truth is a fabrication of actual events, then
like Jordan.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Like Michael Jordan.
Like that. But my thing is that it's hard to, and I wouldn't say it's hard, but when you see so much fake shit going on, you'd rather just separate yourself from the situation. Because I remember back in the day when I used to call out people on social media that was capping, which it was I don't even know why. Back in those times, I was in my 30s or whatever. I was choosing violence and just calling people out.
Right.
But
before
now I
Facebook
kind of just
used to take your pages away.
Right now I just kind of let it ride, and I figure I'll let karma, deal with those folks, because you ain't got a lot, like the phrase, you ain't got a lot to kick it, and I'll let people live though, cause I will tell you that when I see people capping, I will let them live, unless it's something. I used to wow. But unless it's something that I absolutely positively have to call BS on, I'm probably gonna things dealing with race, social justice, and things of that nature. Because you got some people that are so woke and so this and that until it's time to actually, be called to action and shit like that. And I hate when people make these long posts and act like they're so woke, so you know what I'm trying to say. What do you?
Yeah, they use Facebook they use social media as their diary. Like, go find a therapist. We don't need to know every single thing that you're going through, because you're not going to get your help here, right? Like I was telling you before, like I haven't been on social media in like 2 weeks. I've logged out of all of my accounts for several reasons. Lately, with all of the killings and all of the things that's happening in media, it's just too much. It's too much, right, to take in. And then it's not only just the event that's happening, it's everybody in their think pieces, right, on top of the event that's happening. Then you are also dealing with the way that you ingested the 12th killing of the week, right? 12th black man shot. This school gets shot up. This person's in jail. This person, and then it's the videos of these people getting shot and killed. Like, this is the reason why I don't watch this stuff. This is the reason why I don't watch these videos like this. It's too much to take in. It's an overload, right? And then you have people that come on social media. For those of us that were born in 1900s, we were born in an era where none of this existed. There was no cell phones, no internet, no www. Nothing. We all grew up where there was I remember the time that there was a cordless phone. You couldn't tell me that we was not in the future. Okay.
Yeah.
You did not have to drag that long ass cord from the wall upstairs, the 20-foot curly phone cord, and they finally
have flying cars tomorrow.
You couldn't tell me nothing. With the answering machine, you couldn't tell me nothing. When the beeper came out, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like we grew up in these times where communication had to be face to face and it had to be real. There was no time. There was no place for people to go to front, and there's no future in front. And like you may see it on the street every so often, but it was sporadic. Social media puts all of this in one place for you to see
on a daily basis, constant, every day, all day, and it's a lot.
Let me ask you this though, then Becca, because I just thought about something. So, social media, it gives everybody a platform. That means you're going to get the good shit along with the uninformed, ignorant, uneducated, and stuff like that. So, with that being said, is ignorance bliss? Like, was it better? I mean, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the things that you find out about people via social media, because that's a safe haven. You're behind a computer, you can type words. The worst that can literally happen to you is you'll get a Facebook ban, or in some cases you may lose your job, but you're not in any physical danger and stuff like that, because people will come at you on social media much differently than they will come to you in person. I've actually witnessed that, which I found it very, very funny, because some people just talk reckless on social media. So I mean, I kind of missed the era when I was ignorant and I didn't have to filter everyone's thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like, ignorance was bliss, in my opinion. What you think?
Yeah, I agree. It was like better left unsaid, because what happens is you start to know the inner deep thoughts of people, because we are meant to be expressive. So social media gave us a place to be expressive and to converse with other people who may feel the same or differently with us. And what bothers most of us is that we know these people in real life. So when we see them in real life and then we see their social media life, the two don't match. So it frustrates us, because it feels to us like you're performing. And it's like, oh no, I just use social media to post memes and crack jokes and do all of that. But in real life, I'm very zen. And it confuses those of us who are authentic and want to be one way on and off the internet. So when we run into people that are very different and use the internet for play, in our mind, we're like, well, which one is really you? The jokey, disrespectful person on social media? Or are you faking it in real life? Because if you said that shit to me in my face, I'll punch you like that man punched Mississippi. Like, which one is it? Okay. So we struggle with being able to figure out what's real, what's fake. You know what I'm saying? We struggle with that because we know you in real life.
And the thing is, Becca, even if it's bad energy, I would respect it if somebody had the same energy. Like, if let's just say somebody I've been interacting with on social media, we may have gotten into it or some beef or whatever. Even if they came at me in person, if they came at me the same way in person, I would respect it. Even though if we have to throw hands or whatever, but I would absolutely respect it. But more often than not, you're meeting someone's representative on social media, and sometimes when you see them in person, I would say even not just with beef and all that stuff. I mean, you see people that are just so vocal and all that good stuff on social media. They always got an opinion, and when you might meet up with them, and they sitting in the corner quiet as a church mouse.
Yeah, and they use social media to get their shit off, but they would never do that in person. It's like, but why would you bring that same energy? Like, reading the room applies online too.
So let me ask you this: does anybody besides, because I know you had left social media before, but
I do it quite often.
Yeah,
I do it quite often.
So, did you have a thing where people reached out to you and was wondering what was going on? Because the reason I'm going into this next one where it says, vibing, with someone who understands your silence is so therapeutic, because you don't have to explain yourself to anybody. But like you told me just now, you said you logged off all your social media accounts, because the world. I was at this conference the other week, and one of our speakers, he said the world is a bit much right now, And do you have somebody, that you talk to, about those things? I'm pretty sure, when you leave social media, you're not on social media, you're gonna have that one or two person be like, hey, because I mean, people I look forward to your stories. I look forward to, you talk about Chick-fil-A and things of that nature. I don't see you on Facebook no more. What's going on with you?
Yeah, I do. Those are my core friends. When I left before my 40th birthday, I had been off of social media for 2 years, almost 2 years. And my 40th birthday was during the pandemic. So I was like, I want to do something. So I was like, let me go back on social media and do 40 days till I'm 40. So 40 days before my 40th birthday, I've signed back onto Facebook. And each day I posted a memory of the past 40 years of my life.
I remember that. Yeah, that was dope.
And that brought back a lot of the people. So, once you get one friend, somebody else finds you, and then you start getting all your friends back. But during that time, I realized that there is a such thing as a Facebook friend, and then that's it. Like, these are people that I see and communicate with only on Facebook, that don't have my personal phone number, that I never saw in real life. So when I left social media, they didn't look for me, right? It was only my core friends that I still kept in contact with, and my family that never noticed a difference in how they spoke with Becca, right? They would still speak to me and still see me like normal. I just didn't have a internet presence. But then when I got back on social media, those same people that I had friends with 2 years ago came back and commenced to doing the same thing they did, only communicating and seeing me through Facebook. And then what would happen is people that do have my phone number will at me on Facebook. Why? I see two people that I know have each other phone number, have a whole ass conversation on Facebook. Why? Y'all have each other's phone number. Have that shit there. I now know what y'all conversation is about. And it became a bit too much. So when I take my social media breaks, I don't just log out. I deactivate my account, like totally deactivate it and start over. Because if it's anybody that I need to keep in contact with, they have my number and they can still communicate with me and they won't miss me. But there's some people that are come on Facebook just to be a Facebook friend. They never like, they never comment. They just watch your life.
Stalking.
And I don't like that. Like if somebody friend requests me, I will only accept it if I really know them. Right.
They wait for you to take an L.
Right. And then when I notice that they don't post, they don't like, they don't comment, they're just a friend on my list, I delete them. Or if somebody keeps putting up some shit that I don't feel like seeing, I'll snooze you for 30 days. If 30 days passes and I don't miss you, I go back and I delete you. I don't unsnooze you. I delete you. Because that means I don't need you. Because social media isn't the way that I gain access to being social. I have other ways of being social without being on anybody's app. So that's the part that when you vibe with somebody in their silence, even with my husband, like one thing I realized is that I can keep him. Like I'll keep him. Is me and him could be in a room and we don't have to be having a full, deep, in-depth conversation. We could just be sitting there watching TV and that's it. We don't have to be, communicating in a way where I feel like I know you even better now than I did 20 minutes ago. We could be in the same room and be silent and still be okay. And I think that's very important because connecting with someone, I think the pandemic taught us this. Connecting with someone shouldn't be so passe like it used to be. Just being everybody's friend and just being available and accessible to everybody. The pandemic taught us that we need to dwindle down and only be available in social with people that mean the most to us.
Right. And
if that is not, if this particular person, if you're going to miss this person, then you could just leave them. And that doesn't mean drop people. That's not what I'm saying. But you do realize as you get older, that is quality versus quantity.
Yeah. And yeah, you're absolutely right. So now for this last piece, this one hit home for me. My purpose is very different. Don't take my distance personally, man. There are so many people in the 5 years that I've been out of the military that they may feel like I'm being a bad friend and things of that nature. But as far as life, man, life is a motherfucker, man. You got so much stuff going on, and you might not get to connect. Like a couple of my guys I was in the military with, sometimes I'm not able to always get to the phone because I'm working my ass off. You got family, wife, kids, and all that stuff, and sometimes you have to, let people know, don't take my distance personally. It's not personal, but life happens, and things of that nature. But you do have a segment out there that will take it personal. Just be like, oh, they switched up. Sometimes people have to refocus, reset, and get their priorities at a different space. And sometimes people got to remove themselves from a situation that's causing them stress. That has to be respected, and it's not always, it's not always animosity and things of that nature. It's just sometimes you got to do what's right for you, your mental health, and your sanity. And sometimes that might mean not reaching out to somebody as much. That might mean limiting interactions with certain people. That's just the way it is. It should never be. To me, it should never be personal. But unfortunately, some people will take it personal. Some people will speculate. Some people will draw their own conclusions. But I've also learned as well that I can't control that. So I just let that ride. I don't know. What's your take on that?
I am not subject to your demands of my presence.
Goddamn, let me write that shit down too.
Write that down, y'all. I am not subject to your demands of my presence. Okay, life be lifing sometimes.
It does.
When you need to get focused, you have to separate yourself from all the distractions. And it's not an insult to people to say that these things are a distraction. I need to focus on this particular thing right here. It could be my child. It could be my spouse. It could just be my household in general. Let me focus on my career for a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that people have to acknowledge the selfish part of them. If they feel like you taking time out for yourself to better yourself is an attack to them. With all due respect, who are you to demand that even when I need to take care of myself, I still make time for you? Who are you? You can't demand of me more than what I give me. My cup has to be filled by me.
Absolutely.
And whatever I need to do to fill my cup, I need to do that. And if you care even a little bit for me, you will allow me to do that without interfering and demanding my existence in your life when I need to do something for me. That is selfish as fuck. And when I get back to y'all, after I fix me and I get back to y'all, you're the first person I'm getting rid of.
Absolutely. I think you said it all. Like Monica, don't take it personal. And if you do, ain't got shit to do with me. I can't help you there. So
good riddance to bad rubbish.
Absolutely. So hey, I have to first and foremost give it up to my cousin for answering the bell as she usually does. We're going to have to start paying her at some point, because if there's someone that can't come on, because life, like she said, life be life, and then sometimes last minute some people can't come on, and Becca's just always there to answer the bell. So I appreciate you coming in and filling in for Nick J tonight. Hell of a show. Like I said, some of the best pods are when you forget I be forgetting we live. When we talking and just vibing and shit like we doing right now, I be forgetting we live. Which is I'm glad I ain't say no crazy shit. I ain't say nothing crazy, right?
No, you did good tonight.
Cool. So what I would like to do right now is just actually let me go ahead and let you give your parting shots.
My last thought in regards to reading the room, try to give yourself grace in regards to being able to be in any room and be okay with yourself. A lot of the times people will force themselves into a situation or onto people because of an insecurity that they have, that they just need to be seen. They need to be wanted and seen at that moment. And I think when you have some emotional intelligence, you'll be able to be in any space comfortably without having to force it. try to exercise that ability to read the room a little bit more. It may help in some of the disagreements that you have with people. You might not find it necessary to force yourself in a situation if you know you don't belong there.
Damn, true indeed. As far as reading the room, what some people have to realize that access, and I'm pretty sure you can agree with this, access to me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people operate by this. Access is situational. Some people can if some people, you got some people that switch up when you start to see how people really are and they change up, or if they up their ideals and values don't align with yours. It doesn't have to be any animosity, but by access, the access that you have to me may decrease, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, I'm putting you, I'm not, there's no animosity, but I'm putting you where I need you to be. You know, we can still collaborate, work together, and all that stuff, but I don't want to. I would never ever want to give the impression that shit is sweet when it really isn't. And I think that's something that adults need to do more, just to be more transparent, and just to be less fake. And that way, the world will be a much better place. Before we get up out of here, y'all know we got our pods. You know, on all major platforms, Apple Music, Stitcher, Google Pod, wherever you can find pods at. What's going on, Cuzzo?
Husband, y'all.
Wherever you can find pods at, on your smart devices, we in there. I got a little backlog as far as uploading pods. I'm getting a little better at it now. But yeah, this one will be up and running probably tomorrow, or if you want to catch it again, or share it so somebody else can catch it. We out there on all major platforms.
Yeah, we're on Twitter, the Guys Podcast 2, I believe. Instagram, the Guys Pod. We are moving up in the world, y'all. So we do have our own network, the Guys Network, on strim.com.
Yes.
STRIMM.com.
Get involved.
Yes, it's strim.com. So you can catch all things regarding the Guys on our own network on strim.com, channel 6. So make sure you guys tune in and tap in with us. We are here with you guys 3 days a week. I may show up on every up. I'm the pod hopper. So just, if you see me on the screen, don't be alarmed. You're not watching the same show. It's a different show, same face.
Right.
But keep in touch with us. We are definitely here for you Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We try to give you guys different topics, slightly toxic information, and make you laugh at the same time. So make sure you tune in with us.
Yeah, and before we get up out of here, I just want to shout out, everyone, the whole Guys podcast team. I don't want to go over everybody's name. I might miss somebody. Shout out Sean. Sean was the I'm calling him the executive producer for this show. I had nothing. I was on a little mini vacay. Me and my wife was at the casino. I think I got back today. So he helped us out, and we came up with this. It was a dope setup. I wanna shout that brother up for setting the table.
Queens,
shout out to shout out to everybody out there on YouTube Live that's fucking with us. Shout out to everybody on Facebook Live. Shout out to our amazing listeners out there on One Mile High Radio. If you out there watching us on our network of strength, shout out to y'all as well. Shout out to everybody that's fucking with us on Twitter. Shout out to Bobby Blackjack coming through. Shout out to them brothers out there at Blast Music Network. Troy, if you're watching, man, me and you got to connect. I need to get some info and some stuff from you, bro. We'll chop it up. We'll talk. Let me make sure am I leaving anybody out?
No, we want to shout out the rest of the team, Tina B, Mark.
Yeah, I said I wasn't gonna go individually. I'll probably miss somebody. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to the entire team.
There's a few of us guys, and sometimes I've been saying it, but we're gonna do a pod about podding ain't easy, but it's fun. I'm gonna do it. I'm still pushing it. One of these days we'll do it because we want you guys to understand that,
doing podcasting is not easy at all.
No,
There are
not
some
at
that are very great at it and they make it look so effortless, but there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes before we press this live button and talk to y'all. And it's way more than just talking shit in front of a camera.
Yeah, shit ain't always sweet.
It
just,
is
you know,
way more than
it ain't
that.
always sweet. So
Right.
yeah.
And one day we'll give you guys a backstage pass to what it takes to even put on a show for you guys. It's not just topics and make sure your lighting and audio is right. It's way more than that. So we thank you for those who tune into us regular, for those who comment regular. We see the same names and faces. We thank y'all for sticking with us in the very beginning. So when we blow up Shoe8, we could take y'all with us.
I like that. Last thing before we get up out of here, and I know I mentioned it several times, but make sure y'all tune in tomorrow for the Mervin Tazon show. They're going to go over episode 6, season 2 of P Valley. Very powerful episode.
Yes.
And they're going to do their thing tomorrow. I can't wait. I will be locked and loaded, tuned in to watch those brothers review that episode. Becca will probably be on there, and then she'll probably be right back on Wednesday.
I'll get a text at like 7:42. Hey, can you sign on real quick?
He's the serial Potter. So I wanted to get that out there because we do have a pod coming tomorrow, and we got one like we always do on Wednesdays. And I think
I'll be there Wednesday too.
I think that's about it. We will see y'all on tomorrow at 8 for the Mervin Tazon show. Y'all be cool.
Peace, y'all. Good night.